After going and drifting with the boys, it just gave me more motivation to get this diff dropped out of here, get it cleaned up, and beg everyone I know to try and get this thing welded up. Anyone, please. You, sir, please. Anyone? You, sir, please weld my diff. Already got a little bit of a start pulling these panels off of here. Just ain't gonna be too difficult. Gonna take off the drive shaft, pull the axle bolts out. Got 3 bolts on the back and the 2 right here. Wasn't too bad at all. Got the diff out. It was a little tight getting back here to these bolts. I stuck a pry bar in here and pushed on the spare tire hole and it like dunk, went right in. It gave me the ability to get my ratchet up in there. Bust this thing open, see what it looks like in there. Get to begging. I don't know if the pressure washer was a good idea or a bad idea, but it definitely cleaned the heck out of it. Alright, got this bad boy cleaned up, ready to go. I did get a hold of a friend of mine. Good friend of mine, it's been a friend of mine for decades now. Said that he could get it done, no problem, not to worry about it. He's gonna help me out. Waiting to hear from him now. We're gonna get some welds put up in this thing. After that, we're gonna get this thing bolted back in here and we're going drifting. Can't wait. I do got my old wheels that I pulled off this thing. They're pretty much already shot. I'm probably just gonna throw these back on there and send it. You ever welded a diff before? Really?
Yeah.
Whose?
Mine.
Really?
Yeah. Gotta keep like the heat even and kind of do like your lug nut torque.
Alright. Not there.
Ow. Yeah, I figured you would have been like, no, I'm just gonna buy the right stuff.
What stuff? There is nothing better than this welded ring.
For what you're doing, yeah, I guess so.
I need no, it has to be.
No, you do not meter what I do.
I need it stuck.
Well, you're about to have that, son. You're already halfway there. You know, it's good when you have to seek sources, such as a man in cutoff camouflage shorts wearing slip-on boots. Sometimes. When in Rome. Oh wait, you wanted these to still move, right?
Trying to turn it over? Can you pick it straight up?
Yeah.
Or can this come off?
Yeah.
That'll look possible.
Yeah, probably.
Oh wait, that won't work. It's welded now, duh. that thing up, dude.
Yeah, one of these. I do that shit all the fucking time too. I think it's short-lived if I figure out how to operate it. Hell yeah. Oh, that wasn't ready.
Going deep, baby.
If it doesn't hold, you get your money back.
Back in the garage, got my diff welded up. Really huge shout out to my very good friend, Mr. Sterling. Thank you so much for welding my diff. I think he did a great job. It looks great. It's definitely better than I could have done. All I gotta do now, fill it back up with some fluid. We'll put the cover back on. We'll be ready to install this bad boy. I do got some gear oil that's been sitting on my shelf for about 5 years. I think this is the perfect differential to use it in. I mean, it is just a welded diff, so F it. Thing could probably run off anything. It doesn't matter. I think these things take 1.5 quarts. I'm not sure. I got about 2 quarts here. I'm gonna dump it all in there. I plan to drain it after running it a little bit. Make sure anything loose falls off. Maybe it'll run down, catch on my magnetic. It does have a magnetic drain plug. All right. Alright, ready to reinstall our diff. Got my trusty toolbox here. Give me a hand. This is probably going to be a lot harder to put in by myself than it was to take out. Let's do it. Man, even doing a 5-speed swap, I used this toolbox and it was like perfect afterwards. That thing couldn't handle a diff swap at all. I did drop the car on it a little bit right there. boys, diff is in. It's time to test it out. Super excited. Thank you, Sterling. Well, boys, she rolls. Let's see how she does. Quick bolt nut check. Everything's still there. Looks like all the bolts are there. Ain't nothing leaking out. Diff didn't fall out. As soon as I went to try and do a burnout, somebody turned the corner and was coming down the road. I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna get out of here. We'll get plenty of that in the next video though. So it's finally time to go drifting. Stay tuned. All right guys, back in the garage, working on the IS300 again. It gave me some problems, so I thought I'd just give you a little update of what's going on and what I'm doing. So we just finished the diff. It's back in there. I was gonna take it to town. We loaded the whole family up in the car. Was gonna take it for town, just riding around, running some errands. And on the way into town, the traction control lights started blinking. And I was like, that's weird. Whatever. It distracted me from noticing that the temperature gauge was going up. So when I looked down at my temperature gauge, it was actually not reading at all. It was all the way on cold. It actually looked like that, right there, driving down the road. I was like, what the heck? My car's not warming up. But I knew that that could not have been the case. Something was wrong. My traction control light started blinking. I was looking at it, distracted. The temperature gauge went all the way up till it didn't even read anymore and dropped back down to 0 or cold. So we pulled over and the car was leaking coolant. It actually leaked almost all the coolant out completely, and it was because of my radiator hose. I accidentally put this pipe on wrong. It can go on this way or this way, and I put it the wrong way. So what was happening is my radiator hose was actually touching the alternator. You see here, the pipe can go on this way, which seemed right to me at the time before I had the alternator on. The pipe would be pointing down, but it actually goes on this way and it points it more up and out, still at a downward slope. So just a little update. If you haven't done your water pump yet, this is how your pipe goes on. Made a mistake. We're all humans. The car still seems good. All it seemed to have done was just push the hose off the pipe, and I lost all my coolant. So putting the pipe back on, getting that fixed back up. Hopefully this is the last problem I have so that we can finally take this thing out drifting, because other than that, the car's been doing great. Still not sure why the traction control light is blinking, but I'm not too worried about that because at least I don't have to push the button no more. So let's go. All right, all fixed up and good to go. Also, another little side note, I was still using the original little squeeze style, which is probably what made it end up pushing off. But we got it all fixed up now, and I got a normal clamp on there now, tightened down good. The pipe is nowhere near the alternator. I think it would have been fine if I had had a normal clamp on there, because it was really close to the alternator, but it didn't seem to be really touching it. Maybe it did when the engine moved, or it was under a load or something. But we're good to go now. So hopefully the next step is taking this thing out to finally drift it. Peace.